G'day. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to set up a vehicle with NeoFPS seating controller so that a NeoFPS character or characters can board it and make use of it. So we'll start by grabbing the Jeep 01 model. There's just a blank prefab of it here that's just got the colliders done, so you don't have that to look at. That's all done for you already. Make it nice and easy. You can, once you've gone and set this all up with your actual vehicle controller, remember this asset's not a vehicle controller, it's a medium between your vehicle controller and the NeoFPS character. But there is a demo standard assets one included in case you don't have realistic car controller or anything like that. So first of all, we need to set it up as a car. So what we'll do is we'll since the demo steering wheel's already sitting here, we'll add that because we'll use that later. So if you were to be going from scratch, demo steering wheel, get the steering wheel model, drop it in there, double check the axes of the steering wheel model. You see it goes on the Y axis, it rotates around the Y axis. Okay, so on that we want to make sure that is rotating around Y axis. We can muck around with the angle later. Then you're going to want to add the car controller itself. You're going to need to add the demo car user control to control it. You can do the audio if you like and everything else. For now we're just going to get it moving so we can show you the driver features and things like that of NeoFPS seating controller. Going to need a rigid body. Should have added that first, really. Doesn't matter these days. It did used to once upon a time. So that's that. You can set up your interpolation however you like it, whatever you like. We're just going to get this done. For the wheels, fastest way to do that is just go and create an empty on all of them and name them. We'll just be cheeky about it. Do this fast. And these are our wheel colliders. We're going to know that because it's pretty. Nothing else is going to be named like that for now. Wheel collider, wheel effects. Add the wheel effects. Add the skid trail prefab, which is in prefabs, effects. So assets, file skill team, NeoFPS seating controller, demo, prefabs, effects. So you can add your skid trail prefab there. The skid particles need to be added to the vehicle itself. So then you can go and select them again. Sorry, I added the wrong one. The particles need to be added to the vehicle itself. And then you can drop that guy. Oops. Drop its child in there. Okay. That's that. That's the core of that. We go back to the vehicle, to the car controller, and we then add in these wheel colliders. We're going to move them afterwards. Anyway, out of the wheel mesh. So they should not be connected to the wheel mesh. Put the wheel meshes in. Wheel effects are all connected to the colliders. Right, Now we'll grab these guys and just dump them anywhere at the bottom here. Go back to this. Set up its steer angle. Gonna have to give it some power. Let's give it some infinity. I'll do it. Gonna up the slip limit just a little bit. Now in the vehicle, this is pretty much well set up. You're not going to be able to drive it yet, I don't think. Oh, you probably will be able to drive it because the board source component's not added to it. So it's gonna, no, it's not going to get anything. There we go. Demo steering wheel. Demo car user control on enable. It's missing the board source. See, I have modified this user control a little bit just to work specifically with the asset. So there's a good example in this script of what you need to do for input for any other system if you needed to break up your own. Most systems come with their own input components, and you can simply just modify it just this little bit if need be. Sometimes you don't even need to do that if they've got their own input system on top. So now we have the core of the vehicle ready to go. We can go into Tools, Fast Skill Team, Seating Controller Manager, and within the object to set up, we can put this Jeep. We can set the leave it default and set the layers to boardable. If you get the helicopter add-on, you'll get this bool extra option for setting up helicopters. For now, you won't see that; it's not actually released just yet. It's waiting and it's coming. So we can now just click Setup Object for use with boardability, and it will add all the most basicest default system that you could possibly use. And if you click on if you go and see the components here that it's added, it's added the board source and things. There's a bunch of options in there. For now, we're going to focus on what we need to, and this is, you click on the seat here, you're going to see the name of it. It was automatically added by the tool we just used. The driver's seat object it references. This is not the preferable way to set up, but this will get you going really fast if you want to just get comfortable with how things work. So everything's just a default. The player will be invisible, great for an army tank, not so great for our situation here. But this is just a demonstration of how the tool works and the difference to when you set up a vehicle a little bit better to begin with, which I'll go over in a second. So the enter exit locations here, that's where you'll get in and out. This should have a collider. If it's optional, but if you have colliders on this, extra checks get run. It should be the size of the character, and these locations won't let the character out into a wall or something that is intersecting. It'll choose the next available and feasible location. So you can just duplicate that, and then you can have two or more or more or more or more. The more the merrier when it comes to this. But anyway, that's enough to get us going. That's not even a necessity, but it's good to show, so you understand. The driver's seat's been smacked right in the middle of the car. We can move that to where the driver's seat should be, roughly. Now, the vehicle is going to not work just yet, because we need to add a few more things. And we also, them colliders that we just added should be triggers for the enter exit location. The one thing we're going to need to do here is in the board source and the driver's seat, we need the components to enable while we're driving, which is the input. The steering wheel also, so we can add the steering wheel actually as well. We will. And the input. This one, demo user car control. Okay. So now when we start this up, they're automatically going to be disabled. And then if we get in the vehicle, another thing, when you automatically set it up like this, it does give you the interactive object, but it's not very well placed. It's just there so you can quickly modify it, and it saves you adding one more component. So now we can get in. And then you'll see that the player gets made invisible, but he's in that area for the seat. He can drive the car and the steering wheel is going. So that's really basically done. So if I go to change seats, I can't change seats because there is none yet. No extras, there's only his. He hopped out, there we go. Now, if we go and just make a passenger seat, if we were to go from scratch, oh sorry, duplicate that and make one. We can then put that in its location. We can either manually add a seat here, and it's going to say, oh, new seat, we need a new seat, we need to put in position before we can go any further. So we can do that, and we can give the new seat a name. But as you can see, that all takes time, which is why I've developed a much faster way about this. Now, that passenger seat is already where we want it. All we need to do is click Update Seats. Because it was named correctly, we'll add that seat. All these types, names, etc. are filled in automatically for us. It's saying visible player here. We can leave that. Usually if you're setting up and clicking update seats, most people they want visible player enabled automatically, so I've done that. So that's a good example of the difference, I guess, too. If we go here now, you can see invisible. If I switch seats, oh, he's visible. His feet are on the ground. Ah, that's no good. But we also have a solution for that. That is the IK. So we set up the IK earlier. We showed you that for the motorbike. All we need to do is a similar thing for this. So what we'll do is we'll go and remove this seat, and we'll even remove the driver's seat. Okay, and then it's going to change up here and say to quick setup, which it'll do what we did before if we do that, which we used the tools Fast Team Seating Controller Manager for. It will run that basically, but we don't want that. We want to show you how to do this correctly to speed up your workflow. Driver seat, great. We'll delete the passenger seat. Okay, let's start with the driver's seat. What we want to do is ensure the character is going to be at the right height. We can do that by offsets. I like to just leave seats wherever so that we can just adjust the offset on the boardability for each character instead of mucking around with seat locations all over the place. Now, what we can do here is we can create an empty, and we can say feet, create another empty, left foot, okay, target. Make sure we name all this stuff correctly, and this will save us a lot of setting up later. Now, one thing to note, any of these targets, if they're under a seat, like these feet are under the seat, they're child of the seat, they will be automatically found. They do not need to be added. You can add the root if you like of them, just for performance, but they will be found automatically. The main ones you need to add the root for in the seat is things like steering wheels, where these are not going to be a child of the driver's seat. So we'll add a IK target, and now you can see because we've named them correctly, it's automatically picked that up and done that extra little bit of work for us. So we can then go and do a similar thing, and with the steering wheel we can add a child and call it left hand IK target, and do the same, make sure it's all named properly, right hand IK target, and we can ensure these are in the right correct positions, or rough enough, close enough to give you a look anyway. The rotation matters, you can rotate them so the hands work better, etc. These usually do need to sit back a touch off of the wheel and slightly up higher. So that's that. Now we've got IK targets. We haven't set the feet positions yet, so that will look funny. And what we'll do is we'll do that. And by setting up this one driver's seat first, it gives us that bit to get started. So just put them there, and you can add the knee hints and all that sort of thing too, to save knees clipping indoors, things like that. I'll leave that up to you to have a good play with and a bit of fun. Now if we go to, for the driver's seat, this is a little bit extra, so we need to go to the driver's seat within the board source component, which we don't have yet. But if we now click quick setup, it has found that seat that we created and utilized that. It hasn't gave us any more. Okay, now if we were to do that, and you can see it's also chosen visible player for us, if we were to do that for all the seats, and we can do that through this manager here too, if we were to just go and make now the passenger seat, we already got our IK sort of there for the feet. So all we do is move it over to the other side, Alright, and we can throw some hands there. Now, we don't even need that root there, we'll just get rid of that totally. And duplicate them. Name them. Left hand. Now you see that? You just got to click on it anywhere here, it'll just change over for you. And right hand. And click, and there you go, set the IK target. Now we obviously want the left hand and right hand in some sort of positions. What I do actually like to do is with these guys is just add a little something to show where they are really sitting. So yeah, they can sit on his knees while he's sitting in there, I guess. Something like that, you know. This is just roughed right out for you. They're obviously way too far out. Passenger seats way too far out. That's why it's good to have them visual helpers. Driver's seat needs to move across a bit. And then you can grab the passenger seat. That's all set up, ready to go. And duplicate that again. Move it to the back. Do it again. Move it to the left. That'll give you 4 seats, and you can just either drop it in the object to set up. Click set up object. And it will check everything, make sure everything's all okay. And all these seats will be added to the vehicle. You can click update seats to do the exact same thing. That's the core of the vehicle. I know you just want to see vehicle weapons, and we will get to that in the next tutorial. Okay, so if I hop in now, I'm in the car, he's visible, the hand IK is not working, but the feet is. The hand IK is working here. And there's a good reason for that. I did say before that we need to click on the driver's seat and specify the root of the hand IK links due to the fact they are not under the seat. They're not a child of the seat. So all we do is we just add the steering wheel there, because that's the root of where we made the hand IK links. Now, you'll see his hands will actually go to the steering wheel. Here's driver. Or not. What have I mucked up there? Okay, let me double check something. Steering wheel. I didn't add the components either. So yeah, it really helps to do that, obviously. Now, third time lucky, we'll see his hands. Oh, there he is. Because the rotations of the hands, like I said, it does matter. It looks a bit awkward. Now, this is a good time to go and find the rotation you would like. Okay. Also a good time. Position the seat. You should position the seat first. Get it all nice and sweet. You can sit back a bit. I'll straighten his arms a bit. You can use the elbow hints for this. There's examples in the demo scene already. This is just getting you up and running to fully understand the system. Okay, so his hand can go on there. one other thing I noticed, his hand hasn't closed. So you want to check on the ability, on the board ability, on the board source of the object, the animator ID 14. And his hands are closed. The reason for this is, in the animator, for him to be driving and all that, his actual animations to be working, his ability index needs to be correct. Okay? So that's what that refers to. So you could have different poses for different vehicles and easily set them there, which will later come per seat even. So once again, you can position the hands and get them better, etc, etc. Rotate them, and I'll leave that all up to you. Enjoy that. That's the fun part. As you can see, it works. It goes with the steering wheel. You can up the angle of the steering wheel to have him steer more. And if you change seats, can't drive, no driving. Change seats, no driving. Change seats, no driving. Okay. Also no weapons, so there's not much looking around for you in that respect. This also can be, if you've got seats that have no weapons at all, you can go here, set your can aim, and be able to walk around and things. So that's about that. We'll get on to vehicle weapons next. Thanks for watching.